We'll now open the Revere License Commission meeting. First order is the approval of minutes from October 2nd, October 21st, November 18th, and December 16th. Is there a motion on the table to approve those?
I'll make a
minutes?
motion to approve the meeting.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Item number 1 is the Immaculate Conception Parish School. Okay, we'll just table that for a few minutes. Item number 2 is Wendy's of New England, LLC, doing business as Wendy's. This is an application for transfer of a common victuals license. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Trent Colford Sr., 38 Kimberly Lane North, Cranston, Rhode Island,
Great.
02921.
Excellent.
I'm the Director of Operations for Hammer Enterprises, LLC of Wendy's. Formerly, I worked with Wendy's International. This is a transfer, basically. Franchisee has purchased this restaurant as well as the Suffolk Downs restaurant. And I guess we're just looking to transfer that license over to that name. We're still operating, same managers, same district managers, same people that we had previous, operating still as Wendy's, all the same, laws.
So I'm sorry, so what's changing with?
Basically, the ownership, it was a company restaurant prior. The company sold it to a franchisee
Okay.
of Wendy's.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Same hours of operations, there's no change in the hours of operation. So everything's exactly the same.
Yeah, same people, same thing.
Okay.
So it has the same requirements that any other Wendy's would have, and
Absolutely.
And they have to adhere to those rules?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any questions.
No question.
Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion.
Actually, hold on, I'm sorry. Jumped ahead of myself. Are there any proponents who want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. You're all set. Thank you.
Another one.
They're both the same. We hit them at the same time.
So that was for item number 1 and
2 and 3.
Number 2 and 3 were both approved.
Right.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Item number 4 is the Mediterranean Café LLC. This is an application for change of hours. Please state your name for the address, for the record, please.
Salah Habib, 139 Shirley Ave.
Okay, and can you tell me what you're planning to do?
Just like extending the hours. So been getting like a lot of people, they want to come like
Can you
late.
speak up, please?
I've been having lately a lot of people, they want to come in there, and usually I close the door at 10 o'clock, and people are still sitting in there. So I was thinking to change the hours to 2 o'clock if it's possible.
So this is just a common victuals license, and what are you planning to serve at that?
The same thing, basically. It's a bakery and coffee shop, like all coffee and lattes and teas and pastry.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Any questions from the commission?
What part of, yeah, I see, are you closer to the highway?
No.
I'm not too sure where this address is.
Basically, this is the old Revere House of Pastry. So I'm the new owner. It's in the middle of the Shirley Ave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So exactly the middle of the Shirley Ave, next to.
Oh, that's a fairly big,
Yeah.
oh,
Next to the convenience store there.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're right in the middle.
Yeah.
I have no other questions.
So your current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.,
Yes, sir.
and you're looking to do 5 a.m. to 2 a.m.?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
I have no objections to the change of hours.
Thank you.
Is there a motion? Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing seeing none. Are there any opponents? Hearing seeing none opponents, I'll close that. Is there a motion on the table is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve the change of hours.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Great, thank you. Item number 5 is select car and truck rental. This is an application for a parking lot license.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway, Revere, on behalf of Select Auto and Car Rental. representing them in their application for an additional parking lot license at the site of the current NECO facility. We were before the commission a number of times at the end of last year, beginning of this, and we had, it was determined that since Mr. Marcotte was using the NECO for his overflow, that he actually identify spaces. We have a lease with NECO. They're identified on the map. They're striped. They're exclusive, and they are 100. And so that would be our application for a new license in a new location, in addition to his current license.
So is this going to be a designated area within the parking lot area?
Yes, sir, it is. On the plan that we submitted, it is designated as, it's like 2 rows of spaces, and they number of 100. They are not available for parking for NECO employees, for anybody else who's in the area. They exclusively leased to Select Auto.
Okay, and my understanding is the requested number of parking spaces is 239? Is that right?
Yes.
Not that we're gonna use all 239, but there's a lot of people that are parking in that facility that are not supposed to be there.
So,
We're trying just to control all the spaces and be able to hold signs and do what we have to do to
okay.
keep people out of there.
So how do you plan to manage that area of the parking lot?
I
Please
guess
state
it
your name
has
for the
a,
record, please.
I gave us a,
I'm sorry?
Yes, my
this
name's
is a
James
diagram
Marcotte,
of how you're going to do
Select.
that.
Right. And so I see the diagram. Is it going to be fenced in, or?
It already is fenced in there's a gate there, so when you come through the gate, the first 20 spaces on the right-hand side are designated employee parking, as well as everything to the left, which I don't know how many spaces that NECO uses. We're just gonna control the spaces to the right of that, up to the railroad tracks.
Okay.
Customers don't go on the property. It's just our employees taking our customers' cars or, truck rentals that we have, car rentals down there and storing them down there. So customers aren't allowed to go on the property.
How will you enter this lot? Can you enter this lot from a different area, or,
There's 2 entrances, one off of 135, one off of the main highway, I think that's
American Legion?
American Legion. So there's one entrance there. We don't use that entrance or exit at all. That's really for the truckers and their employees come through there. We're just using the one that goes down by the registry.
Oh, okay.
So there's a fence there. That fence closes and locks. So we have control of keeping that. We don't have a lock on it today. But there's traffic going through there, and the truckers are through there 24 hours a day. And I believe that NECO is now operating a candy factory 24 hours a day. So there's really traffic going through there all the time. But if the right of the property that we're leasing, they haven't used for years.
Okay, so then no one coming in off of American Legion Highway can enter this designated area?
No.
No.
Because we don't have customers going down there. It's we're going from our lot down that road that separates where the R&B is. So customers aren't accessing that property at all.
Can you go right from your lot at Bell Circle right to this parking
No,
lot?
I wish.
Oh, so you go around Bell Circle and go down?
And then go between the bank and the little mall. That's it.
Okay. I have no other questions.
So these cars are what, rentals, overflow?
Some of them are rentals, some of them are customers' vehicles. When they come in and rent trucks from us,
Okay.
they have no place to park, so we store their vehicles down there. On a busy weekend, let's say on a Saturday, Sunday, at the end of the month, we could have 50 trucks going out. Those customers have no place to park, and we can't fit them
Okay.
up top.
So, okay.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. We're not using one.
We don't use one door.
We're not using that anymore. No, we're using the Select, where the old Abel Ford building was. That's his current one, and there are a limited number of spaces there that are licensed by the License Commission. And no, Wonderland's not part of the puzzle. That might be a contract that the owner of Wonderland has with some of the other car agencies. I think Thrifty Hertz now owning Thrifty. Thrifty Hertz is one of them, and there may be a trucking agency, but it's not us.
No.
No.
Yeah, those are more car rental companies, I think, that use it for overflow. No. No.
No, these trucks are actually rental trucks like U-Haul vans and trucks that Jim rents.
What do you average for the amount of vehicles that you have?
Usually around,
He's screaming.
average between 80 and 100. I don't really need all the space. The problem is, we want to try to put signs up and control the space and be able to tell people, because everybody's parking there, and it's not a good situation. I mean, they're going to the registry, they're parking down there, so we want to be able to have some control over the space. But I'd say, average 80 to 100 normally.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're all set. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is Squire Road Station, doing business as Nour Market. This is an application for alterations of premises and change of DBA.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Corey Rhodes. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. I represent Squire Road Station Incorporated. Unfortunately, due to a family medical emergency, my client couldn't be here today and is expected to be out of the country for the next 2 weeks. I am prepared to present the application, but if there are specific questions, we may need to continue until he can be with us.
What I'm going to suggest is that you present your application, and then I'm going to have the inspectional services come up and address some of the issues and concerns that they have, and then give you an opportunity to respond to that.
Okay, if hopefully I am able to on those specifics.
Thank you.
Let's give him the option if he wants to.
I'd like, who?
The attorney. You should give him the option if he wants to move forward without his client.
Well, that's true. Do you, I mean, based on the current situation, there are some concerns that the inspectional services have. So as a result of that, you may want to continue it, but if you want to continue on today, that's fine as well.
I would actually, yeah, I'm not actually aware of what those concerns
Okay.
are.
So that's what I'm thinking. Why don't you present your application? I'll have them come up, have them address the concerns, and then you can have the opportunity to either table it or address some of the issues that they have.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Great, thanks.
So my client, again, this was an application for mainly 2 things: change of a DBA, change to use of a DBA, which would be Nour Market, and also for the installation of a small food preparation area and some seating. This is the property at 174 Squire Road, which is currently a Shell station, gas station. And this would be to, again, just change the name for commercial purposes to Nour Market. I believe it's my client's daughter's name. And also to add this small area where there would be some seating and some sandwiches basically prepared.
So although there is a name change, would the ownership structure be the same, or would that change as well?
It would be exactly the same.
Okay. And what are you planning in terms of seating?
I believe it'd be 10 seats.
10 seats. Okay. And what type of food operations do you expect to have?
I think it's kind of general sandwich fare, as far as I've been told. I think there would be some. My client is Lebanese, and I think there would probably be some maybe Lebanese delicacies as well.
Okay. Great. Anything else that you'd like to add?
That should basically cover it.
So I'm gonna have I guess the fire department come up first, address their concerns, and then we'll have Board of Health and then plumbing. Okay? Great, thanks. Please state your name. for the record,
Dan
please.
Manor, Revere Fire Department. I'm the fire inspector. In regards to 174 Squire Road, the Shell Station, 2 years ago, we brought equipment in for cooking without permits, without permission, used equipment. We just happened to stumble upon that. We had everything removed from the premises. Starting from there, I've been there at least for the last 5 years, most recently in December. We have closed him down from operating a self-service gas station numerous times. I've had the police there numerous times. He is an habitual violator and an offender of anything you require him to do or not do. He has a song and a dance for every item and every problem that he creates. He's not qualified, in my opinion, to operate a gas station, never mind a restaurant. He's been shut down. He reopens. I have numerous violations on non-compliance for his fire alarm system, his suppression system. I mean, it goes on and on and on. This has been going on for over 2.5 years. He's never had the proper people come in to pull proper permits to even move forward with the equipment installation for the gas station. We're afraid that, it is a gas station, that you could have a catastrophic incident there, and he is clearly not qualified to run a restaurant, never mind a gas station.
So can you give council some examples of some of the things some of the violations that you've
Well, I'll
encountered?
just go back quickly. I'm going to go back years. I'm going to give you copies of everything that I have. But just in December of 15, he was failure to comply with operating requirements by state law to operate a self-service gas station. His suppression system was not maintained, hasn't been maintained for numerous months or a year, which is required for a self-service station. I've shut him down from that. Come back 2 hours later, he's doing the same thing. And he just constantly, we were actually going to make application to have his gas station license revoked. Probably last year, the chief was going to send up a letter, so based on the non-compliance, like I said, his failure to comply with the required suppression systems, his failure to maintain his fire alarm system, failure to obey dangerous and hazardous conditions. It's just a constant array of problems. He's failure to obey the fire marshal. I mean, you just can't, and this is going, I'm going back, I have paperwork here which I'll produce for the last 3 or 4 years. It's not like it's one thing that happened one time. It's constantly. I can't park my car out there and sit there every hour to watch what he's doing. Because if I did that, I'd be in there every 10 minutes with a problem with him. Plus, he's not even on the premises, and his help has no idea what he's doing. It's like talking to a wall, and you get nowhere. So, I mean,
And he's been notified each time of these violations?
every time. He's been written up. I've had the police there to enforce the shutdowns.
Counsel, are you aware of any of those violations at this point?
Some of the,
There was, it was probably 2 years ago or so, my client did come in and talk to me about some of these things, and as far as I know, they were addressed at the time, but honestly, anything new or continuing, I do not know about.
Okay.
And not prepared to answer, unfortunately.
I've worked with, the attorney from Jerry's office before, but this is just continuing on. Even after we resolve the issue, there's always an issue after another issue.
Okay.
There's just no end to it.
Okay, great. Any questions for?
And besides, he hasn't produced the proper paperwork or anybody pulling permits for additional things that he needs to do to even operate a restaurant. I mean, he just does what he wants.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll have the Board of Health come up and address the issues. Recognize that, you know, we have control over the common victuals license and not the gas station components of it, but yes, but just the same, you know, the gas station violations is understand, but what we're addressing here today is the liquor license, the common victuals license.
Well, I think,
Understood.
I think what's on the application today is to open a restaurant and to put tables in there. And I think that's what we should
That's right.
address, whether we would allow it with your concerns. Right.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I'm sorry, please.
Tony DeGosta, Board of Health, City of Revere.
Great, thank you.
I've been in there numbers of times. He's got permits to operate for food, not to serve food, cupcakes, donuts, whatever he wants to sell like that in packages. He don't have a permit to serve food. I've been in there 2 or 3 times. I talked to I'm looking for the owner every time I go in there. He's never there, so I leave my card to have him call me. So, because every time I went in there, he's got new equipment in there. That's why I notified the plumbing inspector, because there's a stove in there, there's hoods in there. I told Mr. Manor. He just does whatever he wants to do. He's supposed to give me a plan if he's gonna set up a restaurant there with seating, you know, where the tables are gonna go, or where the equipment's gonna go, and I can, you know, pay. Same with the hand sink he's supposed to put up next to it. Everything's in the back room that he's got now, that when I went in there, but he's supposed to be, I don't know why he don't get in touch with me. I leave my card with the gentleman that works there.
I think he also, has he gone for an occupancy permit? He would need an occupancy permit if he's gonna serve food.
Yeah,
And that would come from the fire department,
that's right. That's right.
and he hasn't done that.
But, you know, to have a grill and a stove inside a gas station, I don't think that's right.
Now, can you tell me, has there been any cooking done there that you've seen?
Not yet.
Has anything
Not yet,
continued?
no. He just everything is hooked up, but he didn't pull any permits to hook it up.
Right, but he hasn't,
No, he hasn't
started any
cooking.
business there. Does he have any table and chairs in there at this time?
Everything is still brand new in there. It's all brand new stuff.
Has he been preparing food?
No, I don't think he started yet. It's not done. As of last week when I was in there, everything is still brand new. But
Okay.
he didn't pull any permits to set up the stove, all that equipment, the install system, you know. So,
Okay.
but you try to work with the guy, and, you know, let him know. I leave my card there all the time. He never gets in touch with me.
Have you ever spoken with him at any time? No.
2 years ago, yes, when he started with the new gas station, putting the shell there instead of the prime that was there. And other than that, you know, that's the only time we talked to him.
So has he pulled any permits from the building department that you know of?
Not that I know of, no. No.
Okay. Great. Any other questions? Great, thank you very much. I'll have the plumbing inspector come up. Please state your name for the record, please.
Gas station up the road, although I have, no, Joe's, I don't know what the name, one across from Northgate, I don't want to really use
Joe's.
names.
Joe's.
Well, I wasn't going to use names. Okay. Yes, he does. He grills hot dogs. There's a hot dog machine in there that he grills all day. There's Dunkin' Donuts.
Those are frozen hot dogs that you want.
No, I'm just saying, when you're saying you're not bringing in, I'm just trying to clear up something.
I understand what cooking and eating are two different things.
Right, well, they have Dunkin' Donuts in there that does eggs and breakfast and stuff like that.
You're not breeding grease-laden bakers, which is a whole different.
Right,
But I
that's
think-
what
I
I'm
think-
trying to get to.
Yeah.
What are they cooking? Is this vending sandwich machines? Well, he hasn't used it yet, and that's what I'm concerned about.
I think the issue here is that there's a difference between what the fire department would consider cooking and what we would consider food preparation, which would
common
require a common victuals license. That's the difference.
I'm just trying
I know,
to,
but I think I can clear this up.
Overall, I'm not against a gas station having a grill. As long as they're compliant and they're cooperative and they know what they're doing. We're afraid to approve a restaurant for somebody that is gonna cause a major problem.
And I'm not debating that. I'm totally on
No,
board.
it's-
I'm totally on board with what you're saying.
Right.
But I want to be clear on the distinction between what we're doing and what you're doing. And for us, food preparation, whether you're warming it on a rotisserie versus cooking it, there's no distinction
same
for us.
license.
It's the same process. It absolutely is. And that's the point I want to make. Yeah,
but that's why we need your input.
yeah.
But a common victual license, you could sell packaged food, or you can have a grill in there, so
See, the difference is
That's
what he needs for him to operate what he wants to do, he needs a suppression system, not only with the over the pumps, he needs a suppression system in the store. So as he creates vapors, and that's a requirement, that you have an ansel system. If he can't maintain what he has outside, how's he gonna maintain it?
well, I can tell you, this board, I don't think we move forward without all the inspections going through anyway, so, we wait for those, but I'd like to hear what the plumber's concerns were.
My name is Mark Locke, I'm the Revere Plumbing Inspector. When the store was when they were under construction, plumbing permit and gas permit was filed. At the time, he was only going to have, like you say, prepared sandwiches. So there's no need for any grease interceptor, although he was told that if he does that, he's going to have to supply grease interceptors, one inside, one outside. So I have here the gas application. It was just for a furnace. Okay, so now we go forward a few years, and another plumber came in and filed a permit to install a conversion burner, a cook stove, a fryolator, and a grill and gas pipe. So he has every intention of doing cooking that's going to require grease interceptors. Now, the plumber called me about 4 months ago. He didn't want to complete the work. For some reason, he was not getting along with the owner. And I told the plumber I need a letter that will release him from the job, which I never got. Now, according to the health department, all this equipment is connected. So somebody connected it, and there were no permits for that particular work. He's going to need a grease interceptor for the 3-bay sink, and he was supposed to put in an outside interceptor to handle the excess grease that the smaller one can't do. And I even believe he was supposed to put the interceptor, and he may have it, but it's not on the permit. That's why I question it. He may have one, but that's only for doing prepared foods. Now he's bringing in fryolators and stoves. It's a very serious kitchen, and he doesn't have the interceptor that he needs. In that particular area of Revere, the drains are not in great condition, and it gets clogged up all the time. So any new restaurant that's been opening, the city's been requiring outside interceptors. And that's basically it. So he has no permits, there's been never an inspection. And
But in a case like that, what do you do in a case like that? You go in and they've illegally hooked up gas pipes.
well, I haven't been there because he has to call for inspection. I don't go in there unless the plumber calls.
But if the fire department says there's a problem there,
Well, I would
don't,
go down there with the fire department, but right now he's not cooking, so there's no problem. He hasn't opened it up yet, so there's no reason for me to be there. I don't want to harass the man. So there's no reason for me to be there unless there's an issue. But the issue will be, number one, there's no inspection on the equipment. There's no inspection on the Ansel system. There's no inspection on the gas valve. And he doesn't have the proper drainage system to do what he wants, he intends to do.
So he hasn't in any way, shape, or form conducted any cooking on the establishment at this point?
Well, as far as I know, he hasn't had any cooking there yet. But I haven't been there, so I don't know what the Board of Health says.
Oh, okay. No, that's true.
I'm just concerned, I'm looking at the plans here, it doesn't seem that big that he wants to do this much with that small place.
It isn't. Originally, he had all shelving and selling goods like a market. Now evidently he wants to pull those out and put in seating for 10 people.
Okay. All right, so, clearly, this board isn't going to approve a license until we get approval from all the inspectional services anyway. Counsel, having heard all that information, I'm not sure you're prepared to address it, and
Unfortunately not.
Okay, I didn't think you would. So, what I'm going to suggest that you do is advise your client that he cannot do any cooking on the establishment, and that you're going to have to come back before this board next month and address the issues and concerns of the inspectional services. And I would suggest that you reach out to them to address the issues that you've heard today.
I think that sounds like a good plan. Hopefully, we can have this all cleared up for next month's hearing and be able to present a full proposal.
Right, they have no problem letting the inspectional services go in at this point, and just to make sure that whatever has been done is okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, the one,
Well, that's what I'm suggesting, that maybe, just to see where it's at today.
yeah.
So that we know there's no problems, and we'll make sure there is no cooking going on, because right now, they don't have a license.
Yeah, correct.
So you're recommending or proposing them to disconnect any equipment that's...
No, I'm not. I'm leaving it again up to the inspectional services to be able to get in there as soon as possible to make sure that there are no serious problems going on at this point, and that there are no cooking is being done.
Well, I'd like to take it one step forward. Can we send someone in there to disconnect anything that's been connected so they can't cook?
Well, I think that the plumbing inspector, Mr. Locke, said that he did get permits to put... I think you said that he did get the permits for the plumbing. So I think that would really be up to the plumbing inspector.
Wait a minute.
The plumber called me like 7 months ago, wondering how I get out of it. So I told him what he had to do, and I never received a letter from the plumber. In the meantime, I don't believe that he had hooked up the equipment. I believe that he just did the rough plumbing, because all I have a rough gas sign-off, which means he's just running a gas main down to the equipment. Then you bring in the equipment, then you tie it in, and then there's a final inspection. And I have not received any word of that.
Well, I think all those questions can be answered if they can get access to the store and check it out and make sure there's nothing.
But I think on the grease end of it, with these interceptors, that's very, very important, because with the type of equipment he has in there, fry layers generate tons and tons of grease. Gas grills, tons and tons of grease. And the last thing the city needs is more damaged drains on the street.
Well, again, I think this board would wait for the approval from the inspectional services anyways, before voting on a license.
So just to follow up on Commissioner LaCroix's question, I mean, currently, right now, you would believe that the establishment's safe with the hookups that they have, or?
You know, if it's not using the equipment, I'd like to go down there and see for myself. But if he's not using the equipment, all of it, I should say, has electric safety devices that would not allow the unit to be on. So there's no standing pilots anymore. It's all electronic condition. So, I mean, guessing, I'd say it's all safe, but I'd still like to go down and just, because I haven't been there in a while, and I've never seen the equipment really in place. I don't know what he's got there, and I'd like to see it.
Counsel, I would suggest that you have your client reach out to the inspectors and have them, and meet with them.
Well, I think the concern here that I have with all three inspectional services from Mr. Manna, that there's no fire alarms in there. Fire alarm system's not working. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, he has repaired it based on the last time I wrote it
Oh,
up
okay.
to repair it. I don't know where it is now, but I know none of his equipment is tied into anything regarding fire safety, because nobody's ever pulled a permit to do that. Which is certain.
So again, I would just say, I think it's up to the inspectional services to clear up all the questions before coming here looking for a license to cook.
Based on this, I wouldn't sign off on and occupying that.
Oh, no, I don't think we're looking for that. I think we're looking for you to go and be able to go in there and see what's going on as of today, and we move forward from there.
So I would suggest, counsel, that you have your client contact inspectional services and get that ball rolling before it comes before this board again.
So we will not be continuing for...
Well, we'll continue it
Okay.
for next month. I mean, if you could resolve the issues with inspectional services, because until that time, we're not going to make any decisions on the establishment.
That sounds fine.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 6 is the,
So
I'm sorry,
on
item,
on item,
yeah, we're on item
we
number
have a
7.
continuance.
Yeah, so item number 6, Squire Road Station, is continued until March.
Again?
Do you want to? Oh, beautiful. So this is a hearing for Taqueria Eucalipto 2 Corporation doing business as Las Vegas. This is a hearing regarding, concerning regular late-night disturbances requiring police intervention, including several assaults. So we've asked you to come back before to address those issues with some of the changes that you were going to put into place to mitigate those problems.
Yes. For the record, my name is Corey Rhodes. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere, and I represent Taqueria Elliptico Corporation. My clients are here today if there are any additional questions after the presentation, but the general theme is that it's been a success. Adding some different provisions to the policy, the time changes, just better working with staff. My clients were able to even bring in a tips trainer to kind of recertify the wait staff and the bartenders, and they've seen a noticeable improvement. And I think, as far as I understand, I think that should be upheld by the police as well, that there haven't been any disturbances that at least have been made aware to my clients. I did have a chance to speak with the ward counselor, Ira Novoselsky. He was not aware of any new issues or disturbances or complaints about the restaurant, so we're encouraged that these steps seem to make a significant difference. They have been having police details on Saturday and Sunday nights. The detail officers, I believe, are just wait in their car, basically, and haven't really been necessary to interact with customers, as far as I'm aware. And kind of given some of those other improvements, my clients would ask that the commission consider reducing the need for the detail officers, or even on a temporary basis, to see if the other policy changes have had the desired effect.
I'll be, quite honest, I'm not inclined to do that at this
Okay.
point in time. I think what I'd like to do at this point in time is maybe continue that for a little longer.
Okay.
And see how that goes.
Can you hear from her officer?
Absolutely. However, I think that, I would consider a set amount of time
Okay.
on that. We do, Commissioner Guanasso wants to hear from the police department in terms of how they've done so far and what they think. I'd like to know what they think as we move forward with this establishment.
As far as any new incidents, the council's right. We haven't had any new incidents at the bar that I'm aware of. We do have the detail now on Saturday and Sunday nights, and I think the amount of time we're looking at from end of December or January until now, I think, is kind of a small sample of, you know, what it's gonna be like. So I don't see any reason right now to make any changes.
Great, thank you. So, I mean, I don't, unless the commissioners have their own thoughts on this, I'm thinking that, you know, I'd like to see it go into June, quite honestly. I'd like to see, once the weather starts to break a little bit, you know, what's going to turn up at the establishment, if anything.
Okay.
Unless my colleagues think differently, I'm thinking like June 1st.
I was kind of, I was thinking that maybe we could have tried just one night, Saturday night, or I think Sunday night is their bigger night. Sundays, I'm not sure, but that's their bigger night. And then I'm more concerned about the summer months having the detail. So I maybe would have said, we'll try one night for now. Maybe we'd have to go up to the 2 come June, July, and August. Right now, I think it's a lot quieter, but I do have to go by the officer who's there every day and see what, and knows what's going on there. But I'm more concerned about the summer having detail both nights, Saturday and Sunday nights, than I am at this point. But
So-
that being said,
So are you suggesting that we
I would
maybe-
like to hear from my colleagues, how my colleagues feel. I mean, I understand, I don't want to be the one to say we'll cut back and, you know, there'd be a problem. The officer said that maybe it's not a good enough test right now, so I am questioning my way of thinking, so I'll listen to my colleagues.
How many detail officers are there on any given night?
Excuse me, how many do they have? One?
Yeah.
Just one?
Just one?
Yeah, it's a small establishment.
And it's Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it's too small a sample to decide whether the whole culture has changed there or that it's changed because the detail officer's there.
Mhm.
Right.
I think we'd have to, you know, look at it a little further.
And also the weather, the weather
right.
too, it's a lot quieter right now. So.
I agree, although they've had issues in the winter too, so, you know, that's why I'd like to see it go a little bit longer. I wouldn't mind trying, you know, maybe in June on a trial basis to see how it would go without a detail officer on maybe a Sunday night. But at this point in time, I'm inclined to continue with the details.
Potentially, kind of to mix the two viewpoints, potentially maybe make it for a slightly longer period, but only Saturdays, say that my clients would come back at the end of July to report to the commission how things have gone. And if at that time it still seems that the Sundays were necessary or needed because of the summer weather, that might be under consideration at that time. Maybe kind of to bridge the gap in the two perspectives.
So are you suggesting?
It would be, I guess the suggestion is from starting potentially this weekend, it would be Saturday nights, the detail would be there. And my clients would come back to report to the commission at the end of July how that's gone. And if there are any instances, obviously, in between then, that would the commission would want to see them beforehand. They'd be obviously happy to come in. But this would be kind of giving this extended sample size, but also potentially giving them some room to see if they're going to be able to operate effectively.
So maintaining Saturday night with a detailed officer and then Sunday night without one. I would defer to the police department. I think see what they think about that.
Well, I just have a question for him also. Is it Saturday or Sunday night that we have the large crowds?
That's what I'm not really sure on.
My clients seem to think it's Saturday night is the more popular night.
Is that correct? I'm sorry? Saturday, okay.
I mean, you know, as the police department, we do whatever the bar owners and the license commissioners are inclined to do. If they want to, if you wanted to agree to stop on Sunday, we'd certainly know pretty quickly whether it works or not, because I'm sure the incidents would start up again if you know.
I'm trying to avoid that situation though, and that's why and that's the reason that I think that having a detailed officer for a longer period of time on those two busy nights would send a strong message to patrons that, the establishment, the police department, and this commission, are not going to tolerate, that kind of behavior at an establishment. I'm still inclined to leave it to 2 days, unless my colleagues think differently. Maybe on June 1st, we could consider dropping the Sunday, at least for a trial period, and see how that goes. Recognize that, it's the responsibility of the establishment. I don't want to be sitting here, and I'm sure neither do my colleagues want to be sitting here dictating how an establishment should be run. This all stems from problems that they had at the establishment. We're trying to, work with the establishment, but by the same token, there are 100 other establishments in this city, and haven't experienced the same type of difficulties that they have, especially on an establishment. We've got larger establishments like that run without any issues. And so I just think it's too soon, personally. Unless my colleagues think differently, like I said, I think I would leave it at 2.
So the reason, I assume it's a financial impact, especially on Sundays.
That's definitely part of it. I think one thought I was having was also that the detail, if they're having such a presence on the crowd, we could get to the end of the summer and detail goes away and then everything comes back. This would at least give my clients a chance to show that their other policies have had the desired effect.
They have another thing to keep in mind also. If we were to go down to the one night, the Saturday night, should there be an incident, they would probably be looking at a rollback of hours, should it happen again. So, there's the risk factor there also. Not doing the 2 nights, they're putting themselves out there for 1 o'clock rollback, should it not work.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to know until we pull the detail, right? Whether you pull it now or pull it 6 months from now. We're not going to.
The office saying he doesn't think it's a good enough test at this point.
Well, it's not a test until they leave the detail. It's no test until the detail leaves, right?
Well, I think you still, theoretically, you could have trouble at the establishment.
You could have trouble there, but less likely if
I guess what I'm saying is it seems to be working because prior to the hiring of the detail, we had numerous problems on a regular basis. And since the detail has been in place, there haven't been any problems.
Exactly.
So,
Right, and no late phone calls.
I guess,
So-
right.
A lot of the reports did come from my client, and I think some of that was understanding that.
What is the detail charge? What's an hourly rate for the detail?
I forget. We did look into it back in the summer. And do you remember the cost for an evening? $250, $270, somewhere in there for an evening.
For both days?
I think for one.
This is
One
for
night?
one, that'll be one.
For each day.
For each day. And we required 4 hours?
It's a 4-hour minimum. Because it's a bar detail, it's time and a half the normal detail rate. 4-hour minimum, and the city tax on a 10% administrative fee. So like she said, probably 275, 280 a night, somewhere in that ballpark.
So are they aware that if we did pull a detail and an incident happened again, and there could be a pullback of hours, which would have a bigger impact? I don't know if they're aware of that.
Sure, absolutely. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm suggesting
I spoke with my clients, and they're fine with it. They think the policies that they put in place, how things are behaving inside the restaurant, are worth the test.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing else is on this.
Well, I mean, that doesn't bother me. My concern is that it just hasn't been enough time. What I also want to make sure is that, I want the establishments to continue calling the police department if, in fact, there is an issue there. And my concern there is it's sort of a moral hazard, where you have an incident and now you're reluctant to call the police department. And to me, that's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's their license. I would, maybe I would think that potentially April 1st, you can drop this Sunday and see how that goes, if my colleagues agree with that. Because I don't want to hurt the establishment, but recognize they put themselves in this position. I didn't put them there. And so, I want to be fair, but I also want to be fair to the police department, the neighbors, the patrons inside the restaurant. I mean, there's a lot of people that are affected by the way they operate their establishment. So unless the police department has any objections on that, maybe we try Sunday?
No, that's fine if you want to try that, yeah.
On
Like
April
I said,
1st?
whatever the board decides, and between you, the bar owner and the board, we provide the detail when it's required.
I'd like some feedback from my colleagues on this.
Next meeting is what, the third week in March? So we could table it for another month and see how that goes, and at least we have 2 months of sample size.
Well, I think,
I know the weather is the weather, but
yeah, but if you're going to keep the two details, again, we're making them come back up. They have to bring an attorney, whatnot. So if we're going to stay with the two, we might as well just stay with the two. And if you want to, in April, maybe if you want to come back and just give us an update on what's going on there, it's fine with me. I have mixed feelings on it. I feel at one point I think we should go down to the one night because of the expense. I can see it's probably costing about $2,200 a month for these 2 nights. And that is a lot of money. And again, not because of this board, the board had to react to what was going on down there. On the other hand, I do agree with my colleagues. I don't want a problem to happen down there and we roll it back to the one night, So, I mean, I would be okay till April, leaving it as it is, and then in April, if you want to come back, we can address it again, and try to help the business out also. So, it's just very hard. I think everybody's just trying to protect the area and also help out the business owner.
So why don't we, rather than have them come back, unless there's an issue that as of effective April 1st, they can drop the detail on Sunday and see how that goes, maintain Saturday. And that should give us close to 7 weeks, 8 weeks of additional details to see how they do. And then any issues in the interim, recognize that, you'll be back before this commission and dealing with whatever consequences there are. And unless my colleagues oppose that, I think that's almost 2 months.
Are you making that in the form of a motion?
I'm looking for feedback before I make that in
Well,
the
now,
form of a
I'm in
motion.
agreement. I'm trying to help out both sides. But I think going another month, 7 weeks, will probably be about 7 weeks with details both evenings. That should give us a good test as to what's going on down there.
I think April 1st is a fair amount of time.
Okay, so that'll give us some time to also continue to have some oversight by the police department, which will help help the establishment from having any other issues. And then as they move forward, I mean, they're just going to be responsible for their own license. So I'll make a motion that they keep the two details, Saturday and Sunday nights, until April 1st. On what date does April 1st fall on? Okay, so on April 3rd, okay, they can drop the detail officer on Sunday only.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes, and we'll table it for 6 months and have you come back at that point in time. 6 months from now is that July? Yeah.
August.
For the next meeting. Sorry? August, okay. So in August, we'll have you come back and we'll see, we'll review how you've done.
Okay.
Recognize that any issues in the interim, we'll have you back here for the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay? All right, I'll make a motion to keep two details, Saturday and Sunday night, until April 1st. On April 3rd, they can drop the Sunday detail, and then we'll review at the August meeting. And that is in the form of,
I'll second that motion.
actually, so there isn't,
Oh,
yeah, so let me just, are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Communications, a letter from 388 LLC doing business as Valari Cecilia Maya, manager, detailing the procedures the restaurant has implemented for handling their post-10 p.m. patrons. Late license renewals for 2016. Motor vehicle sales, Class 2, Kenneth LaFosse, doing business as Brothers Auto Body. Common victuals license, Mediterranean Café LLC, Amora Shenna Callahan, and Avery Shenna, doing business as Banana Boat, The Good Diner LLC, and then entertainment license for The Good Diners LLC. I'll make a motion to approve those licenses. Is there a second to that motion?
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're all set. Our next
Okay,
meeting,
excuse me.
Sure.
I would like to, we still have one item here, and I believe that maybe they didn't know they had to appear, the Immaculate Conception Parish School. And they have this event every year at Father Brennan Hall. I would like to approve this one-day
do you want to
license.
excuse yourself and step down and make the
Well,
presentation?
Yeah. I was actually going to ask Maggie, or our officer here, to approve it. We've approved it before. Would you like to represent the Immaculate Conception Church? You can apply for that one-day license. We should probably put these all in that file.
Yes, absolutely. Please state your name for the record, please.
Sean Randall, on behalf of the Immaculate Conception Church.
He was loud enough, though.
It's pretty loud.
Sean Randall, the Police Department, on behalf of the Immaculate Conception Church, applying for a one-day license for beer and wine, March 12, 2016, for a school fundraiser, approximately 150 to 200 people at Father Brennan Hall from 7 o'clock in the evening till 11 o'clock in the evening.
And this is a fundraiser that they've held every year for a number of years.
PSO, yeah.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board?
No question.
No questions.
Is
I'd
there
like to make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for? March 16th. So next scheduled meeting is March 16th. I will make a motion to close. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.